Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. We are on deck number 258. This is the quest to get to build a deck of every legal legendary creature. Where I'm going to build them all, as it were. No, not a Pokemon fan. Anyway, Uyo, Silent Prophet. Um, I haven't actually seen a build like this. Of course, I guess that could sum up a ton of them. 6 mana 4/4 flying, but the real reason why we're playing her is the copy instant or sorcery ability. So I got to thinking, what? There's a few cards I've always wanted to play with, but I've never actually been able to work into decks because you just have to build around them. So Uyo, I was like, what would I want to copy a whole bunch of times? So here's what I came up with: Eternal Dominion. This is the deck, folks. The entire deck is based around Eternal Dominion. Now, yes, that epic ability is just a punch in the gut. It really is. You can't play spells for the rest of the game, but I don't know that it's that bad. So you get to search your opponent's library, artifact, creature, enchantment, or land, pretty much any permanent that's not a walker, because, this is pre-walkers, and put it into play under your control. Now, you cast this, you've got it on the stack, and then you copy it a bunch of times, or as much as you can, with Uyo. So that's what, if you copy it, then during your successive upkeeps, that epic will trigger for each time. So if you play Eternal Dominion and copy it 3 times, then you're casting 4 copies the first time, and every successive upkeep that you get, you will just get like 4 abilities here. So in a multiplayer game, you conceivably get something out of everybody's deck. You're going to start with their win conditions or what have you, and mana dumps because you're not casting spells. But anyway, that's where I went. So the rest of the copy effects, believe it or not, Twin Cast was the last card I got for this deck. Thank you, Danny. Um, he watches and he got me my Twin Cast. I was out of Twin Cast, but Twin Cast, Echo Mage, because you can, you level this guy up, you can copy it twice. I like Insidious Will. I'd like it more if it was focused there. Swarm Intelligence is pretty cool anyway, just because. I mean, it's a permanent, so you can play it in prior turns before you cast your big epic spell. Mirari, now granted, here again, you're going to play this beforehand. Mirari was so much cooler like the week it was released when you could just do it. But anyway. The Charlatan. Copies the spell. Mirror Pool. Copies the spell. And Mischievous Quanar is going to copy a spell. So those are my spell copiers, along with Uyo. I want as many copies of the epic spell on the stack as possible because, I mean, the idea of just during your upkeep, hey, do all these things on everybody's turn. The Talera West obviously goes and gets the Mirror Pool. That's why that's in there. But the problem here is that we have to not die. Not dying is very essential to the plan. So I've got some creature removal, like Sunken Hope is it's a beautiful card. We don't have a whole lot of creatures. Yeah, hardly any at all. We have Ether Eyes, which, obviously you're going to cast it when they're attacking you. Displacement Wave. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. You're like, man, can't wait to see that Cyclonic Rift. Well, it's not going to happen because Cyclonic Rift, I'm out of. It is the most played blue EDH card that exists. So, obviously, it's one of the more played for me. We got Whelming Wave, which is more or less an evacuation. And yeah, I brought up evacuation because, hell, I'm out of those two. But a lot of these work really well. Now, and then I got Larry Nevin's disc that Mark Teeden autographed for me at GP Memphis. Now, also, we're playing with a bunch of heavy, mana-heavy cards. So we need some ramp. Drain Power, I completely and totally view this as ramp. I love that last line. You can't take less than all. So we are mono blue, so the High Tide is, some of the best ramp. Cloud Key, card we don't really see a lot of, because not a lot of people have them, I think, or they're all in use, or nobody's trading them, or whatever. But you're going to choose sorceries, obviously, to make it. And then we have got our artifact ramp. Pretty much the usual suspects here. Soul Ring, Thran Dynamo, Worn Power Stone, Felwar Stone, Sisay's Ring, Everflowing Chalice can get ridiculous if we got a ton of mana. Pristine Talisman. Nope. Mana plus life. Prismatic. Sky Diamond. Even going so deep as far as the Magnifying Glass. Because Magnifying Glass, even if you are like not doing anything, I mean, you can put the clue tokens into play and, draw some cards. I got Seer's Lantern also helps with the, by the way, there's a lot of colorless mana symbols in here. A lot of the diamond pips because of the profit. I mean, 4 mana draw card is pretty daggum sweet. I love it. And then, of course, we have Fracture Power Stone because every Friday we play a lot of Plane Chase, and there are times when, you're going to get your free roll. You're going to pay the 1. You might even pay the 2, but then you can just effectively, you're using this for 3 mana to roll that dice if you just got to get off that plane. Now, I also believe, let me look here. I believe, because I want to get back out the Eternal Dominion here. For the rest of the game, you can play spells at the beginning of each of your upkeeps. Copy this. Yeah. So that is why I have Paradox Haze in here. I don't have another copy enchantment, but I think we're like... It's weird how I built an entire deck around this epic spell, but I think a copy enchantment on Paradox Haze is too much. Anyway. Get a little bit of card draw. And Tidings. Brainstorm. Now, I consider Future Sight card draw because Future Sight is amazing. It does flip it up. It does let the table know what you've got. However, it increases the size of your hand by +1, like forever. So then there are ways that you can manipulate this with, decks that I run Future Sight in or things like it. Even though they're monocolor, I'm going to run a Terramorphic Expanse or an Evolving Wilds to shuffle away if I've already played a land. Because I'm always going to opt to play the land from the top of the library because it's essentially drawing another card. But then there are turns that are going to happen when you just flip up 2 lands and you just need to shuffle, or so you brainstorm or you ponder or whatever. Anyway, I love Future Sight. It's not an expensive card, but it's good. Windfall, some card draw, dig through time, time reversal, and of course Days Undoing. Now, we are playing with, I want to say it's like 50 some odd land. We have a lot of land. And the reason for that is Mana Severance. Because we have a lot of pieces that we need to get. And once you get, with that many lands, you're going to get your mana base out there pretty quick. And once you've got enough lands, and the last thing you want is to draw more lands, you can Mana Severance half your deck away and draw gas for just the rest of the game. Now, granted, it is super risky if you've got some people at the table who don't mind playing Armageddon, like me, but it does happen. But Mana Severance is a card quality improver. When you don't need that mana anymore, you just, cast Mana Severance and get rid of it. Orochi Hatchery is another one of those cards that you're just going to cast out there, and then it gives you something to do every turn. You just start flooding with snakes. Yeah, your blue deck wins with green creatures. And then, of course, the Thopter Spy Network, it also triggers during the upkeep. Now, all of these things you got to cast before you cast your epic spell, because you ain't casting nothing afterwards. And the last little thing I have here is counter magic. Now, counter spell, rewind. Hesitation's super funny, because the hesitation, while doesn't really work with the epic thing. I mean, you can't play this and then play that because it'll just counter it, but it is really neat. It does kind of fit the same theme, Spell Crumple, which is really, really neat and works exceedingly well with Tunnel Vision, but I'm not running Tunnel Vision because that's, I'm not mean. Well, not with this deck anyway. And then last but not least, of course, we have Frozen Ether, which the enchantment that shuts off haste. It blanks all haste creatures, which, may or may not be a thing, but it certainly does affect artifacts that a whole lot. Well, that is what I have got. It's a relatively simple, straightforward deck. It's not... this is one of those decks that you play after you just went nuclear with Gitrog, and you need to, redeem yourself in the eyes of the deck. Oh, nope. I'm sorry, I have one more card. Forgot it up there. Spellbook. It didn't fall into any other category. But yeah, this is the deck where you need to prove that you're not a complete and total asshole for, killing the table repeatedly. But anyway, I do appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. Right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.